Welcome back. I'm here with Andy Talaga, and we are here to do the Premier to Death Star 2 tier list for the light side. So these are the decks that and where they kind of fit in with the meta. A reminder, Andy is running a Premier to Death Star 2 retro tournament. It is free to enter. It starts on May the 4th, 2025, just in case you found this video in the future. You might have missed out. But let's get into our tier list, Andy. So light side, do you think light side's better than dark side in this format?
Light side has never been better than dark side in any format.
It's a good take.
Maybe premiere to special edition, like by like this much.
But
But light side is just dog.
Light side's always just been like tricks, and dark side's more like we have.
Yeah, I mean, not to be on a tangent already, but I'm on a tangent already. Light side is just iterating the same 4 different characters, right? Obi, Luke, Leia, Han, in like different and more powerful situations. So like you have to like make a new Luke, and then you make new Luke stuff and new interrupts to go with Luke and that type of thing. Whereas Darkseid only has one character that they have to do that to, maybe 2 if you think count Boba Fett, but really it's just Vader. So like Darkseid can have like this like much more deep like deck designs and deck decisions, because you could play like Scum, you could play like ISB, you could play Hunt Down, you could play Bring Him Before Me, you could play Space, you could play Ground. You can do all these things. On the light side, you just kind of like, if you're not doing Obi, Luke, Leia, Han, I don't really know what you're doing. And so light side, you're just kind of like hamstrung by the fact that it's about their heroes.
All right, let's get into our list though. So the first one we have here is Dantooine base operations, which is
if we have Z tier. It doesn't. It's not even F tier. It's not even E tier. J tier. It's like they've removed ampersand from the alphabet. It's ampersand tier. This deck is garbage. It's the worst thing you can do in Star Wars CCG. I'd rather start the droid junk heap than play Debo.
All right, what about Rebel Strike Team? Rebel Strike Team is not good. I like it because it's fun, but it is not good. It is just like not a viable platform to really run anything.
It's so hard to set up, and then like Darkseid wants to be battling, so they're just gonna go fight you at the bunker and kill all your guys. I mean, like the best thing you're hoping to do with Rebel Strike Team is the grenade, the bunk that blows up the bunker, like detonates because you lost a battle there and blows up their characters. Which is like pretty terrible.
It's kind of cool when it happens.
Yeah, but you're like intentionally trying to lose battles to kill their guys. It's like, why not just win battles and kill their guys and do more damage and do something better than Rebel Strike Team?
All right, we have Quiet Mining Colony next.
Here.
Yeah, it's
instantly. It needed the effect from Tatooine. Without the effect from Tatooine, you're probably just never going to flip your objective, and it's horrible. It might be down with Debo in Premier to Death Star 2 at like ampersand tier.
All right, what about Local Uprising?
Below D tier. There's not even like a good version to play. Like at least Darkseid can do it on Yavin 4 to try to stop throne room mains. Local Uprising has no good version. So awful. D.
All right. Well, light side's not starting off strong here. We have Rescue the Princess next.
It's also D tier. This deck is terrible. You can never rescue Leia. It takes forever. Darkseid can just stack either of the 2 docking bays and either just force lightning Leia when she tries to move, or like you are beating her and then sniper. The deck is terrible. Yeah. maybe C tier. I think it's D tier as well. There's good in him as awful. The only way you can play this is with like speeders, and it's just a gimmick. The only benefit to there is good in him is it's a good platform to use Fallen Portal because you start with the docking bay and you have Luke there, and they have to go to the docking bay to cut off your activation. So then they have characters there that they're trying to keep to cut your activation off. So you can play characters there and then Fallen Portal them and get your Luke back. There's better decks to play Fallen Portal in, or we'll say there's better decks that will play Fallen Portal because Fallen Portal is really good. It's probably one of the best light side cards. There is good in him as a good Fallen Portal deck, but it's not a good deck. So I would put it at D tier. I think it's a horrible deck. I've never lost. I've rarely lost to it. But if you want to put it at C tier so that not every single light deck is in D tier, you can, but I would put it in D. You're on mute.
I'm going to put it at C because you do get to start Luke with a lightsaber, right? And that is a great starting package. And if Darkseid,
but they just put a character there, and you're activating 2 force until you can find a way to get force.
Yeah,
it's not good. All right, but fine. C tier, really D tier.
Mind what you have
learned. If you know how to play Mind What You Have Learned, it's probably somewhere between S and A. If you don't know how to play Mind What You Have Learned, it's probably like B or C. You have to really know how to sequence your cards right, and you really have to know how to track your destinies. And I think the most important thing for playing Mind What You Have Learned is you have to have a lot of patience. Because if you don't have patience and you jump the gun to try to battle or interact with your opponent before like turn 7, you're going to lose the game. Mm-hmm. But as long as you can complete test 5 and stack a 5-6 or an R2 and red 5 for a 0-7, you will never lose a game with Mind What You Have Learned. Most people don't have the patience to do that. And there are route tier operations is pretty good against Mind What You Have Learned. So that's the best Darkseid deck. You could put it at B. If you learn how to play it, it will be like almost unbeatable. But if you don't know what you're doing, it can really struggle.
All right,
it's not a forgiving deck.
We have one of my favorites, which is
Hidden Base X-Wings, S tier. This is probably the best deck for light side in the format. It has game against everything except route tier operations, but that's just because route tier operations is so good. And Hidden Base X-Wings can just school most decks. It's phenomenal.
All right, we have Prophet next. Prophet is
probably A.
Yes.
I'd say A tier. If you've played like most of the light side decks, it's not a very forgiving deck. If you know how to play Prophet, which is low to the ground, very few characters, you're trying to skimp on not mana cost, think magic on deploy costs. Luke goes down for free. Han's already technically deployed because he's at the AC frozen. You're on Ben Kenobi, Leia, and like a couple of guys, and then spread and use dodge or narrow escape or barriers to like prevent battles, and then set your own battles up to like battle back into them and kill all their guys. And do direct damage. Like if you know how to play it, again, it's got game against a lot of decks. But if you don't really know how to play it, and your opponent's playing like Bring Him Before Me and just stacks the audience chamber with like 7 characters, you're just can't possibly win.
Yeah, I agree with that take. There's lots of ways of playing Prophet, by the way. There's like 5 variations here, but I think overall that's a good take on this. All right, next we have Throne Remains, which I know
I don't know why you didn't choose a throne room.
I chose a
But-
main. I
Okay.
chose
I'm gonna probably put that at S tier.
yeah.
It's between like S and A. It's probably the best deck in the format for light side, but if you don't get your activation early, like you start with the nudge start, and if you don't start with another site in your opening hand or like a tunnel vision to get a site or something, you can falter a little bit just because mobilization points will be able to get most dark side decks out of the like force choke range, and then you can kind of like plateau or taper off if you don't find your force activation. Also, this deck wants to activate like 20 force a turn, so it's very draw dependent in that regard. But it will absolutely be able to go toe to toe, if not beat Routier operations like almost every time. And it's good against all the dark side main decks. So, and it can play really well into the scum and villainy decks. So it's really well positioned. It's probably like the only light side deck that's well positioned for everything except for maybe Hidden Base X-Wings and Prophet.
All right. Next we have Hidden Base Mains.
Hidden Base mains, I'd probably put it between A and B. It's like a worse version of Throne Room mains, and that's really it. It gets a little bit of there's like 5 different ways you can play hidden base mains. You could do a hidden base flip deck where you put out 5 systems and you're playing more ships and you flip. You could also do like a Tatooine Alderaan Our Most Desperate Hour hidden mains deck, or you could do Tatooine Celebration, or you could do Bespin Celebration, or you could just do like, pull Yoda's hut off of Dagobah and then play like Cloud City Docking Bay with like on the edge, off the edge. So there's like a lot of different ways you can build the deck. All of them are probably pretty solidly like A to B tier. It's just a worse version of Throne Remains, is all it is.
Okay. So we've got this whole list here, right?
We're missing one deck, I realized. That's Echo Base Operations.
Echo Base Operations, I was going to say, which would maybe be like here.
Probably A or B tier. If you just spend a lot of resources to get Echo Base Operations set up, because you have to get all the sites out and guys to those sites, then planets, then ships to those, and then defend your ships and such. If you are doing it, you're probably good against like a lot of decks, but you're not really doing a whole lot or putting a lot of pressure on dark side for like the first like 2 to 3 turns, which is like critical time to really set up. And I like Ebo probably at B. So imagine there's an Echo Base Operations next to that Mind What You Have Learned.
What else have we missed here? Or what else would be kind of note? There's lots of ways you can build all these decks, right? Like, lots of variations and iterations and stuff.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different versions of like mains decks. Like you could start Obi-Wan's hut and do careful planning for Tashi Station so that you could play Ben Kenobi and then move them, and then you get a big activation boost off of Tashi Station. Again, it's just kind of a worse version of Throne Room mains. You can do like an Elam Swarm deck, which is kind of cheesy, but it is effective against Routier operations because you're putting a bunch of like Destiny 4, Power 4 aliens down against them. And you can really bring a beatdown back because they're not affected by the Rebels deploy +2 because they're aliens. Um, then there's just like other flavors of careful planning starts where you play like um, a planet system and a site. So you could do like Bespin and start guest quarters and do like a Cloud City celebration or something. Um, but again, all of them just feel like worse versions of throne room mains. So I think the list is pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. So I'd love to hear folks' thoughts on this, what we missed, what you think, where you would move stuff around. I know there's a lot of favorite decks out there that, you
Yeah,
know,
I'd probably use a actual throne room instead of Leia, but that's just my opinion. All right.
excellent the critic.
Yeah.
Uh, all right, that's all we've got for you guys. Like, subscribe, join Andy's tournament. It's free. It's very
Yep.
few things are free in life.
Thanks to Scott Church at Category 1 Games for sponsoring it.
Absolutely. But that's all we've got. We'll catch you guys later. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you later.